You're watching the High Spot Podcast, HSP. I am Jeff Martin alongside my tag team partner, the Trendsetter, Brian Berga, and we are here with you for an NXT Battleground preview. NXT Battleground takes place tonight from the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada. We'll be in Las Vegas a lot in 2025. Look forward to that. Trendsetter, how you doing, man? You ready to preview this one? It should shape up to be a very good NXT leading up to this. It's been really good. It's been red hot. Shawn Michaels is cooking. What do you say, Trendsetter? You're looking forward to tonight?
Oh, definitely. It's been a while since we've done one of these. Looking forward to this card. I got to say, NXT has done a really good job so far under the umbrella of Shawn Michaels to build up this card for Las Vegas. I mean, just getting off the fact of what we dealt with WrestleMania, with all the other premium live events, NXT now is in the forefront. They have the night to themselves, and they're looking to pull out all the stops. So looking forward to this one.
So this is the first time that you kind of sense that partnership with TKO, as we kind of believe there will be a lot of Las Vegas stuff in the mix. We already know that WrestleMania will be in Las Vegas next year, WrestleMania 41. So obviously we all know about the partnership with WWE and TKO, and obviously the NXT Battleground will be the first event there in Vegas to showcase NXT. All right, Trendsetter. So let's just back it up a little bit with NXT Slam Sessions as we preview Battleground. Listen, this lead-in, like you were saying, has been really, really good. And then, of course, we get the debut of Ethan Page, which I got to be honest, man, I love the secrets because everything gets leaked out. And obviously, Ethan Page was a free agent under the radar, kind of almost forgot. No offense to him, but kind of forgot that he was a free agent, leaving AEW just a few months ago. So that was like in the back burner, and I didn't really think of Ethan Page. Obviously, he's a good wrestler who obviously got lost in the fold, so much so that he decided to take another bet on himself and go elsewhere, showing up on NXT, attacking Trick Williams, being behind the attacks prior to that. And I got to say, it was a nice surprise, and I really think that Ethan Page is going to do well here. He is a great caliber superstar that has that potential, and I really think that that will show itself in NXT.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you here because when I look and think about Ethan Page, I think of untapped potential. And that's what he had. I mean, he had so much potential in AEW, and you thought he was going to be a more notable commodity there, but just got lost in the shuffle. I mean, hey, when you bring in guys from the WWE into into AEW and make them part of your program, I mean, it really starts pushing out a lot of people who were probably promised, I don't know, but they're probably promised more TV time, more storylines, just more usage of their talents, and that wasn't the case. So it is a bet on himself to now move on to in his idea, in his mind, greener pastures. But also I just think he found himself in a good niche right now. NXT is still part of that collective, group of people that love wrestling and love storylines, if you're not a huge fan of the main roster. And so you do get that with NXT, and here's an opportunity now, which I think it's all he's been asking for is an opportunity. I think, when you look at him, despite his track record of what he did or didn't do in AEW, he has now a great opportunity here to showcase to a larger audience. Sorry for those AEW fans, but a larger audience of people who don't know who Ethan Page is and has the opportunity to make a bigger name for himself.
Now, I know what you trolls, are going to say. Oh, is there really a big difference between the viewership in NXT and AEW? We get what you're saying because it is under the WWE umbrella. All right, internet trolls, got you there. Trendsetter, you talked about chance, you talked about opportunity. That is the key word. And what an opportunity he has on his first match there, going for the NXT Championship against Trick Williams, something that Ethan Page couldn't get a championship match kind of never in AEW. So we'll see what happens there. We'll talk about that matchup, of course, towards the tail end of our preview. So let's start with the tag team championships. NXT tag team championships are on the line. The Good Brothers, who I say still have a good run in them. They have one good run in them. I think if you just let them roll, they have an opportunity here to have at least one run here in WWE or NXT. They'll take on the tag team champions of Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Listen, you could say that the Good Brothers are down there to make bigger names of Axiom and Nathan Frazier, but I would not be surprised if they put the titles on the Good Brothers here, especially if they're going to be on the roster with AJ Styles? Are they splitting their time? It looks like that's the case now that AJ now has turned heel. He's going to get the shot against Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Championship at Clash at the Castle. But I think if you let them go, if you really, because I don't really think they've been given that full opportunity. I don't think that they've been behind them 100%. If you go back, Carl Anderson can cut a promo. Luke Gallows as well. Maybe you didn't like in the beginning the kind of stuff that they put him in when they were first in WWE, but if you let them cook, if you just let them be, I think you can get one final major run out of the Good Brothers.
I think there are several good runs left in the Good Brothers too. It just depends on creative and if they want to utilize them the way that I'm sure a lot of people feel they're not being utilized as. They are an established tag team. They're an established track record in terms of what they've done all the way around. And listen, if we're in this new regime now, when we're recognizing other individuals in their past accomplishments of what they've done all over the world, you got to say that they're the most seasoned veteran team right now that WWE has. I'm not even just talking about NXT. I'm talking about more main roster as well. The things they could do with other tag teams all over the place, whether it be Raw, SmackDown, in this case NXT for the tag team titles, it will just elevate the division even more. I would love to see the Good Brothers come out victorious in this one. I think, the way it's going right now, I don't think it hurts Axiom and
Nathan Frazier.
Nathan Frazier. Sorry, name's on my mind there. I just was had a little cramp right there in my brain because it's been so long since you've done this, Jeff. But I don't think it hurts them really when you do that because it just kind of creates the thing that we love the most too when we're rooting for some baby faces. We want the chase. We want them to go there and deal with guys like that who I feel can bring the tag team division as good as it's been so far. We were there pretty much at the pinnacle of what the tag team division was and what it can be right now. I think the Good Brothers would be a great reason why they could take it to that next level. So I definitely see them in a good run having the tag team titles in this one.
So what I'm going to say is, as far as my prediction on this match is, why not have a series of matches here? It doesn't hurt to put the tag team championships on the Good Brothers, on Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. So I'm going to go here with maybe a slight shocker, maybe not a shocker to you guys, but I'm going to go with the Good Brothers. I'm going to say Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows come out here, the NXT Tag Team Champions. Your final prediction on this one?
Yeah, like I said, the Good Brothers, I feel, I won't say deserve, but if you want to elevate Nathan Frazier and Axiom, and you want to elevate the tag team division, putting titles on the Good Brothers right now is a great way of bringing that NXT Tag Team division to another level, to a level where, like I said before, I felt it once was at that pinnacle of the talent that was on that roster that moved up to the main roster. Here's another opportunity again. The chase is always more exciting than people retaining. So I have the Good Brothers in this one.
Hey, guys, make sure you just follow us on Give Us a Shot Network, guys. Like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell to make sure you don't miss any single episode of the High Spot Podcast. HSP is on Give Us a Shot. Make sure you follow us on all our social media at High Spot Podcast. And, of course, you can find us on only one place exclusively. I've always wanted to say that. Exclusively on Give Us a Shot Network. All right, Trendsetter. So now we go on to, obviously, the NXT North American Women's Championship, the inaugural Women's Champion, the first ever Women's Champion will be crowned here for the North American Championship in a ladder match, Trendsetter. And here you've got Ruca, Lash legend, Fallon Henley, Miss Jaida Parker. Oh, my goodness. And Michin, of course, you can't forget about her, the veteran of the group here. And then, of course, Kelani, Jordynne. Obviously, I got to say, stop saying obviously too much. There was a depletion in the women's roster in NXT after the draft. And there has been the argument that this is still the best division, the women's division in pro wrestling and maybe in WWE. Obviously, again, the talent is there. Who do you go with? Do you go with maybe someone like Michin who can elevate that championship because she's a known commodity? Or do you feel like that urge just to give it to Miss Jaida Parker because, good Lord, she just freaking deserves it because she looks so fine? What do you do? Or Solo Ruca, who has probably the best finisher right now in pro wrestling, at least for the women. What do you do here? Shawn Michaels has a lot of options. Who do you put that championship on? Because let's be honest, this one is going to be a ladder match. Is going to be a good one, but a tough decision for Sean, or is it an easy one?
Well, I want to say in terms of an easy one, it's easy in terms of, in my opinion, anyone you select from the people you just mentioned, you can't go wrong. That's how I feel, right? Because each one has a valid point of what they wanted of in terms of putting the title on them, right? Veteran presence to great finisher to whatever the case might be. But when you look at the significance of the fact that when we had the North American title and it was inaugural, it was in a ladder match. So now it's like a tradition. We're going to do this in another ladder match. For me, if I'm really looking at this, and I do like the Michin scenario you brought up originally, that here's a veteran here can now bring some prestige to a title that's brand new. You want to put that behind a title, really, of somebody that can kind of carry it. And really, let's be honest, since Mia Yim or Michin has come up to the main roster and been signed by WWE, we're fans of hers. We feel like she's been underutilized. There hasn't really been anything she's done since she started NXT, moved up to the main roster, and now is back on NXT. This could be a breath of fresh air for her. But my heart is telling me, of all the people you said that were, valid points there, for some reason, I just like Ruca a lot. I really do. I think before she had her injury and then came back, I just think she had so much momentum going for her. Of course, she does all these athletic things, the flips, the dives. I'm sure a lot of wrestling enthusiasts would be like, it's not all about that. It's about telling a story. I get it. But in with all that too, she does tell a story in terms of the fact that she is someone that I could see the title being put on her. And this goes to the debate too sometimes, Jeff, right? Does the title make the individual make the title? In this scenario, I think it will work hand in hand with someone like Ruca. So I have her going victorious in this match. I think it bodes well for her athleticism in a ladder match where she can do even more incredible things. I have her coming victorious in this one.
Listen, I have tremendous respect for Kelani Jordynne, but again, she's young. She'll have plenty of opportunities. I think this is the beginning of her to be showcased. Fallon, Henley, again, and someone else too that's just on the beginning of her journey. Someone who obviously there's going to be better days for her. This is the beginning for her as well. She's putting in this high-profile match because what I love about this is as soon as the women get drafted to SmackDown or Raw to the main roster, they're already building these girls up, and this is Fallon Henley's opportunity again to be in a high-profile match. So I would eliminate those two, and then you can't underestimate Lash Legend too, because this is somebody too that is on that cusp. Her and Trick have chemistry. Imagine having her as the NXT North American Women's Champion and Trick as the world champion. There's a storyline right there that you can put. So it's really tough in this one. And I'll tell you this, I'm going to go here with another one. I'm going to go with Michin. I'm going to give her that championship, elevate it, and then properly, because you're right. Since she's come in, she's kind of been in and out. She was put in the angle with Gallows Anderson and AJ Styles. That kind of fizzled, and then she came back. I think the good thing about NXT is that if you're kind of fizzling in the main roster, you can go back to NXT, get your name, and go back up there, a la a guy like Baron Corbin. So it is possible. It can happen. And why not give it to Michin? Again, she can elevate that championship. That's a veteran presence. Why not have a veteran win that championship and then elevate one of these girls here, a Lash Legend or a Jaida Parker? But Jaida Parker would be my next person because she has done so well in the last few weeks. Her mic skills have been so good. She burned Mia Michin in that interview last week with all the 6 girls. She is one to watch. She would be my I guess sleeper pick here. Maybe not a sleeper because she's just been so popular, but I'm going to go with Michin here as a veteran presence to become the first ever women's North American champion. And it would be so nice to see. It would be a nice feather in her cap for her career. And obviously we're pulling for you. Sorry, don't want to be biased. We got to be, unbiased and fair.
Call it like we see him, Jeff.
Call it like we see it, but Michin, I have her winning this one. All right, trendsetter, the NXT North American Championship. We've got Oba Femi. The guy is unstoppable. And to think that Wes Lee, who's coming back, kudos to him from a really rough knee injury, and he's coming back to this. That's crazy. This is one big hill to climb to get your North American Championship back. And then Joe Coffey from Gallus will be the third man here in this triple threat match for the North American Championship in Las Vegas. As much as the story would be great, that comeback story for Wes Lee, I can't see him taking that championship from Obi at all. I think this guy is on a streak. He's going to continue to build himself up. This guy is main roster bound pretty soon, if you ask me. I think that they love him. And I think, too, the chase that you're saying, we love the chase.
Yeah.
Wes Lee is ready to conquer that championship and take it back from Oba Femi. So I'm going to go with Oba Femi retaining the NXT championship.
So no offense to Joe Coffey there, but he's really here for a cup of coffee because honestly, it's really between Obi and Wes Lee. And my scenario is everyone loves the good feel good story. Finishing the story as we saw it at WrestleMania. Overcoming the mountain. I mean, Obi is a mountain of a man himself. I mean, I don't know if you can overcome this scenario here too. The momentum he's been riding, the dominance he's been riding. If you were to pick a perfect scenario where he would lose the title, it'd be this scenario because he doesn't have to get pinned and lose directly to lose this championship. If he were to move on to the NXT championship. So this is a way of somewhat saving him, but I don't think that's going to be the case here. I agree. I think Obi will retain his NXT North American Championship.
Would you be surprised if they pull the trigger and have Wes Lee pin a Joe Coffey here and he takes the championship and get that feel-good story in Las Vegas?
It wouldn't be far-fetched to me, but listen, as much as I like Wes Lee, there's just still something about him where I'm just like, yes, he is the workhorse. He is the underdog, as they call it, right? But I just don't know if that will be a big enough result in terms of do you move and I don't want to say sacrifice, but do you alter someone else's direction? Because let's say Trick is still fresh as the champion. Do we now move him in that position, or do we hold on to Obi in this spot right now until there's a moment where he either, like you said, moves up to the main roster or challenges for that next title, which would be the NXT Championship? So I'm kind of iffy about that. Would it be surprising to me if they want to go that route? No, but knowing things now in WWE, they're not as predictable as they used to be. Just don't see that happening right now. They don't want to give it away fully. Could it happen down the road? Yeah, but I don't think it's happening at Battleground.
So let me make the case for you why Wes Lee, if I were to take Wes Lee, but we got Obi here, if Wes Lee were to take it, is because obviously the draft happened and you lost a lot of guys in that draft. And to fulfill that main event echelon, you've got Ethan Page. He's that guy. But you also want to add maybe somebody else there, and putting Obi in that world title mix with Trick, that'd be pretty awesome. So I could see them doing that. Maybe not just yet. So that's why we're going to still stick with Obi. But would you be surprised if Wes Lee takes? No, we wouldn't be surprised. And that'd be the only other way to go. Like you said, Joe Coffey is going to have a cup of coffee here in this matchup. I think, listen, nothing against him, but I think that this is
still a great opportunity for him to showcase himself.
Exactly.
Be in that argument down the road as a North American champion, but just unfortunately not part of the storyline here. He's just I don't even want to say a body. But he's just somewhere right now to make this more of a unpredictable outcome if it was just a one-on-one.
Could be there to take the pin, so you have to.
You could be wrong. Maybe he wins it. Then I'll eat my crow then.
To take the pin, so we'll see there. But honestly,
the victory. Who knows?
All right, NXT Underground matchup. We had the last one with Natalya and Shayna. Now we get Lola Vice and Shayna Baszler. I'm looking forward to this. They obviously have.
You're looking forward to Lola Vice just shaking her booty.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, pretty much. But
they call a spade here. With the Queen of Spades, Miss Shayna Baszler. Mm-hmm.
Really have a lot of confidence in Lola Vice, because to be put in this position, to me, I think that this is somebody that is. I mean, this is the start of her big push here, I believe, and the unpredictability, or just because it's still kind of brand new, this underground stuff, whatever. So I think that it's still going to be pique people's interest, especially with Lola in there. And of course, Shayna Baszler's got the MMA background. But you think here, though, that Ronda Rousey took the pin, lost at SummerSlam to Shayna.
Who?
Yeah, well, that's a whole other episode that we could discuss. But
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Shayna hasn't really taken off after that. No. Because you really thought that would be the point where they would give her this monster push after defeating Ronda Rousey. Maybe she's getting she's getting descended a little bit because of that friendship with Ronda Rousey and how they may not be, and how maybe pushing her to this level might appease Ronda. So you never know about that. But are you surprised that Shayna's been kind of stuck in this, I would say, this purgatory here? Because she has that factor. I mean, they really booked her properly when she first came up from NXT, but now she's been back and forth, tag team championship, different tag team partners, not really given that full opportunity since the whole Becky Lynch thing, honestly, at WrestleMania. This was like what, like years ago. So, like, are you surprised that Shayna's in this? Because I think Lola is going to win here, but are you kind of surprised that Shayna is tweening back and forth? I mean, she got she wrestled at GCW Bloodsport, right?
Yeah.
WrestleMania weekend. So that's a big thing to do. One of the people outside of the in WWE to go outside to another promotion during WrestleMania weekend, and you would think that she has the tools. She is probably the legit name, a legit name here, MMA background. And so, are you surprised that it's not really a clear cut that Shayna is going to win? Because it's not clear cut. It's not like a sure thing. To me, it's more like Lola Vice here beating a bigger name. Anything catch your eye about this besides that? Am I just overthinking about this?
I'm surprised that you're asking me if I'm surprised at all. I mean, it's like, honestly, I'm not surprised at all. You know why? Because Shayna Baszler, her best moment, in my opinion, in her WWE career so far was, granted, she did a lot of great things in NXT, right? But when she was brought up to the main roster, Elimination Chamber, when she dominated that event and was eliminated, but was dominant in terms of the fact that she was this unstoppable force. Like, wow, you couldn't stop her and you couldn't wait to see what was going to happen next, right? And that backtracked a lot. I wasn't surprised. You know why? Because it was under it was under the old regime. Now I'm a little surprised on terms of the new regime, where now she's going back to NXT. I get it. That's where you kind of want to reboot yourself sometimes in this type of scenario. But now in this, pitting her in this spot with Lola Vice and looking at it from all collective standpoint, for me, trying to break it down and trying to think, and using that magical word a lot of people love using, these the internet fans and wrestling fans all over the world, logic in wrestling. Yes, it does help someone like Lola Vice because, hey, it's another name. You had Natalia, and now you have a Shayna Baszler that you defeat to keep proving yourself. As much as you're shaking your behind and doing you know what, as you know, as funny as it is, as attractive as it is, as annoying it might be, and getting that heat, it shows that she could still be physical, still kick butt, be that badass that they want her to be. For Shayna, I think right now it's kind of a catch-22. You know, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So I am a little surprised in this aspect of terms of what she did with Ronda Rousey, trying to make her a babyface. Let's be honest, and you and I have had this discussion before too, Jeff. There are certain individuals that they're only good in one spot. They're great at baby faces or they're great at heels, and some are also versatile. They go back and forth. With Shayna, all I can see her is a badass heel, and this has the makings of her being a baby face to a certain degree. And I just don't like it. Like, I don't buy it. I don't believe in it right now. You don't really want to see me rooting for Shayna Baszler because I want her to, get her just and get her revenge. I want her to be a badass like she was before. You only get that as a heel. And then it's a weird dynamic too, Jeff. She seems to be a babyface on NXT TV, but then when she's on the main roster going for the women's tag team championship, so their tag team partner, they're heels. So it's a weird thing going on with Shayna Baszler right now. I don't think they've figured out that Rubik's Cube of her right now. And this one, I have Lola Vice winning. And again, just another defeat in terms of someone making a name for themselves in sacrifice of Shayna Baszler.
And again, you talk about Rubik's Cube. It shouldn't be that hard. Like you're saying, she's a natural heel. You just need to just let her go. And obviously, I think that you'd have money with Shayna, a really full get behind her and just let her be that heel. And obviously, I think you
Best characters have always been themselves with the volume turned up. When she started in NXT, coming up from the Indies and coming up before the Four Horsewomen made their way in terms of Ronda and her lackey friends, it was really legitimate that she was the best of the bunch. I felt Shayna Baszler got it because she started from the ground up and really understood the psychology of what it was to be a good pro wrestler slash WWE superstar slash sports entertainer, whatever you want to call it, right? She kind of got it and then got lost in the shuffle in terms of how they wanted to utilize her. I thought they did a great job in NXT when she lost to Rhea Ripley and moved up to the main roster, another dominant force. And then at some point, would it be a flavor of the month or something? They kind of lost interest, and then okay, well,
Yeah,
figure it out on your own.
someone lost interest there. That's really good analysis. Because even in NXT, remember how Dakota Kai was scared of her?
Yeah,
I mean, that intimidation, she is intimidating. She's an intimidating person, an intimidating factor. So obviously it's there. And now they have a lot of intimidating people too, like a Rhea Ripley there too. So they have a lot of people like that. So we'll see what happens. But we got Lola Vice in this one, in this matchup here. And now we go on to this one where you talk about forbidden door, right? The prohibitive door has been opened in the relationship between WWE and TNA. They call it NXTNA. How awesome is that? The hashtag. And it's happy to see too Jordynne Grace against Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship. And of course, Jordynne Grace is the Knockouts champion for TNA. How surreal is this? It's great to see. I love it. I love it for TNA. I love it for NXT. This is to me, this should main event. Honestly, this is how good this match can be. It has been great. The lead up to it, the Jordynne Grace video, and let me tell you something. If you don't think they're trying to take Jordynne Grace eventually, then you don't know.
Fool.
Yeah,
You'd be a fool if you didn't see it happening right now. What they're trying to do here.
They have tremendous respect. First of all, she impressed the hell out of me at the Royal Rumble. There's some people, and this is what I love about this. There's some people that get the opportunity. It's given to you, right? And some people will either fold under the pressure or they will take it and they will roll with it. And Jordynne Grace at the Royal Rumble not only took it, she freaking scored 4 touchdowns in that game. That's how great she was in the Royal Rumble match, in the Women's Royal Rumble match. And now she gets this. This is a huge, and she talked about this before. This is the weight of her, or the weight on her shoulders for this, just to even come out and have a good showing. She's going to have a good showing. Roxanne Perez is going to be tremendous too. But I love it too because you don't know what's going to happen. Because of the partnership, she could walk out as the NXT Women's Champion, take it to TNA, have that open challenge, and maybe Roxanne Perez answers that. And I love it because you don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know. Maybe you think it's a schmoz or something happens that it's a disqualification. I think someone's going to come out victorious. Do I dare say Jordynne Grace beats Roxanne Perez? I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to say it's going to be a good match, but I'm going to say Roxanne Perez wins this, but it's going to be the show stealer. This is going to be the match to watch.
It definitely is the match to watch, in my opinion, in terms of the build-up, how they've presented it on television, Jordynne Grace's presence right now, and the amazing job she's done in transforming her body into what it is right now, the work of art as it's presented to you, the masterpiece of the clay being all put together, and this is the end result for now as she's still evolving. But to me, I look at it and I just kind of look back at how we originally saw Jordynne Grace, and we followed her on the indie scene.
Yeah.
There's just something about her that to me clicked in terms of, she still had a lot of work to do with her in-ring promos, doing interviews. Again, that's not her forte, that she didn't like it. I doubt she still likes it now, but knows it's part of the job and getting better at doing it. She's doing a great job in terms of being on the microphone, in terms of what she's done on NXT TV, on WWE TV. So to me, she's learned and grown in that aspect. Also as a performer too, knowing that she had to put more work into getting herself more condition, and she has done so. But she always seemed to have that it factor. I always kind of I would always tell you and nudge you, be like, hey, listen, Jordynne, she's got something here, and hopefully WWE can recognize it. And to have the opportunity she did at the Royal Rumble, huge surprise to everyone, right? And for her to have the performance for people, and this is again part of when the other regime was ending and the new one beginning, where people at the Royal Rumble knew who she was. And all that she had done in the indie and in TNA Impact back then. The pop she got, her standing next to Bianca Belair, looking at her Rhea Ripley, thinking, wow, people want to see this. And all the respect and all the the flowers go to Jordynne Grace in this. This could be an opportunity, and forget the whole Forbidden Door thing too, because I think that's a whole load of BS in my opinion too. When people say that if you've opened the Forbidden Door, the door has always been there. It was just in WWE, it was just impossible because one particular person would not allow it to happen. Now, it seems that it's now as long as it's good for business, there's always an opportunity because now we're recognizing other places out there, other places that have prestige behind it. Again, we're not going to compare it to WWE because WWE is the juggernaut. It's the end all be all to a lot of people's minds, right? But the fact that you have somebody here, they're mentioning another company, they're putting that person on a larger platform to promote their company. This is kind of what the whole AEW TNA thing should have been, in my opinion. The mere fact that when you had a scenario similar to this before, I really felt it was, 99 AEW and TNA was kind of just along for the ride, and they were kind of being the sacrificial lambs to
Got
it.
fleeced. TNA got fleeced, and they learned their lesson. I don't care what the AEW chose. Like, oh well, Kenny Omega brought you the biggest. That is bullshit. They got fleeced, and Tony Khan should had more respect for New Japan than he did for TNA and Scott D'Amore because they knew that they were.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, they got
definitely.
exposed.
This could be an opportunity where WWE shows themselves, hey, listen, we're confident in ourselves. Now, to answer the question, as I'm not trying to be long winded here, is that do I see Jordynne Grace walking out of this? Man, that would be amazing. To her go on TNA with the NXT Women's Championship, and my goodness, that back and forth there could be in terms of a potential, love story in the sense of these two companies because there are a lot of great fantasy matchups we would like to see. I don't think it would hurt WWE if you did that. But because they've done so much in trying to build Roxanne, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it might be a schmaz. If it's a clean finish, it's a clean finish. I don't think it hurts Jordynne Grace in that end too. But my goodness, what could be if that does happen? Crowd would go crazy. The internet would go crazy in terms of what's going on now. Are more stars from TNA going to come over to WWE? It just opens that opportunity. I'm not going to say door. It opens the opportunity for that partnership to continue to grow. Because at the end of the day, Jeff, it's all about trust in this business, right? So if you give TNA the trust that, hey, listen, we're willing to put your people over on this stage, on this platform, we're going to put them over to showcase them more so it helps you guys out. Maybe in the end, in the future, you'll help us out. And we'll have these fantasy matchups we've always wanted to see that we thought would never happen. That could happen with TNA. Who knows, down the road, that could happen with a New Japan Pro Wrestling. How great would that be, right? But this is an opportunity, I feel, if WWE does it right, quoted the way I think right is, man, if Jordynne wins, how amazing that would be. The whole place would go crazy. Internet would go crazy. But with that being said, and ending this long-winded explanation, I think Roxanne Perez, though, still retains the NXT title.
And
What a great showing for Jordynne Grace. I think she's doing amazing in this match.
all the flowers we threw Jordynne Grace's way, we have Roxanne Perez winning because let's be honest,
because it's still WWE. That's why.
Roxanne Perez her flowers too because as a heel, she has excelled. I did not think that she could do it, but she's done it and done it really well. And here's another reason why I think Roxanne Perez still maintains the championship. And again, it's going to be the match. It's going to be the best match on this card. This is going to be the one to watch. But I believe too that they want that feud with Julia when she comes back. I know unfortunately she got injured, so maybe you could get a title change here because if Julia is out for extended amount of time with that wrist, and maybe it's past July, maybe you don't see her now until September. Which sucks, by the way, because I really want to see her debut during the summer here in NXT. But whenever she comes in, they really want to get that feud going. They really want to get Julia and Roxanne Perez. That is the go-to feud when Julia arrives from Japan and finishes her duties with Marigold. But you could put that in the back burner now with that injury that she has. Will they do that? Will they be tempted to do that? This is going to be exciting, man, because you really don't know. You can make a case for Jordynne Grace depending on what this partnership is. But you're right, though. Roxanne Perez, at the end of the day, she is the NXT person. So she is NXT. So you have to go with Roxanne Perez. But this one is so exciting to watch, dude. This is the one, man. I cannot
That's
wait.
what I'm looking forward to the most.
Guys, we had a great interview this past week with Sean Manchester of Bulletproof Studios because you know what, guys, and I don't say this a lot, but Macho Man fans, this one is for you because obviously there is Trendsetter knows this, there is no podcast without the influence of the Macho Man Randy Savage, and just he made me into a wrestling fan. He was tremendous, and we had this great interview with him because here is your chance, guys, to get the Macho King replica crown. It looks amazing, and they've probably reached the 25 people they needed.
Easy.
So they were at 23 when we talked, 22, 23 when we talked to Sean, and they're well on their way now to mass producing these. But here's your opportunity to get a piece of the Macho King because there's not a lot of stuff from the Macho King Randy Savage, and Sean Manchester was smart enough to capitalize on this, and you have a unbelievable looking crown that you can have as a keepsake for the Macho Man, a collectible. And then if you want to resell it, do what you can, but it's going to be a great investment for you guys. And we were able to talk to him this past week. So make sure you check that out on the Give Us a Shot Network as we talked to Sean Manchester of Bulletproof Studios, LLC. He talked about the Macho King crown. Great episode, dude. Really good guy. And we're pulling for him. And I'm so tempted, Trendsetter, to get that crown.
I know you are. Just your bank account and credit card would never forgive you for it, though. I know, I understand. Listen, it's the impulsive buy. It's the child inside of us, which is why we're all wrestling fans. That we look back at things that are nostalgic because they bring us back to the past of why we love pro wrestling, why we love this industry, right? And why we love doing this show, because we have the opportunity to talk about things like that, talk about this card here at Battleground, talk about Macho Man Randy Savage's influence on the business, and the to this day and age, you go, ooh, yeah, everybody knows what that refers to. So, it's not just a generational thing where sometimes it get lost in the shuffle, like, oh, that was in more of the 70s, that was more of the 80s, the 90s. No, the Macho Man Randy Savage transcends everywhere because everyone knows what that is. Everyone knows the Macho Man Randy Savage. So, again, an amazing replica crown. I wouldn't blame you if you got it, Jeff. At the same time, too, you got to pay rent. So,
Very true.
You got to pay the rent.
My account, I'm going to freak out. Oh, yeah, but definitely make sure that you check out the interview that we did with Sean Manchester talking about the Macho King Randy Savage's crown. Oh, yeah. Do much better, but trying to get over, over what I'm getting over. And and then
Well, under the weather. I get it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Trendsetter, got to close and talk about the NXT Heavyweight Championship match between Trick Williams and All Ego Ethan Page. We opened with this. Didn't really even see this coming. Ethan Page showing up on NXT television. And of course, they had the great setup there where, hey, wasn't he from A? And Booker T stops Vic Joseph there. And then we get Ethan Page. What a shocker. Obviously, we talked the potential that Ethan Page has. Really has a lot of potential. Didn't really see it that much in AEW because, again, there was just a lot of people coming in, and I would say he had an opportunity, but not too many, though. And so now he has a chance here on his first match in NXT to take on Trick Williams for that championship. Normally, you don't say that there could be a title change here, but why not? Let's freaking do it. I love Trick. The fans are not going to lose any momentum towards Trick Williams here. So I'm going to say All Ego Ethan Page walks out the champion. We talked about the potential, but do you think this would hurt Trick Williams if he loses the NXT championship this fast?
No, I don't think it would hurt him. Depends how he loses it, though, because, listen, as long as the journey was for him to get to this spot right now, I think I'd be fair enough to say that not a lot of people predicted he'd be at this point this quickly. I know he was he was more in the background type of thing, more of a managerial type of stuff, and then he caught fire. I don't think that ruins his momentum in a sense, because here's the thing: you talk about longevity wise, right, and talk about in terms of how things are going to pan out for somebody who's young and hungry, and the crowd's behind them. In this case, to me, if you're signing a guy like Ethan Page, I'm sorry, no offense to Trick, but I want to make sure Ethan is taken care of in a way too, because let's say Trick, the fans are already behind him. He's already, as they say, over in this case. But for an Ethan Page, he needs some help here. And what a huge debut would it be if your first match on NXT is you win the NXT title? So to me, that's where it makes more sense for me for Ethan Page to win this one. Again, I don't think it ruins his momentum. It goes back to what we talked about in the very beginning. Sometimes the chase is better. Sometimes it's like, oh yeah, you won the big one. Maybe it was too much to handle because, again, it's one thing to win the championship. It's one thing to be the hunter. But once you're the hunted, it's a different story. So it's more of a learning scenario for him. So I don't think it hurts him. You know what? I'm going to go out there and say, I'm sure I'm 100% wrong in this. And a lot of people are going to say, there's no way, it's Trick Williams. He probably will come out victorious, but I'm going to go with the opposite. I think Ethan Page will walk out your new NXT champion.
Yeah, same here. I really do. And I think we get hung up too much on title reigns. I think it all started with CM Punk and his 434 days. And ever since then, even WWE has been really talking about the title reign and the days and all that. And I think to me, that is just sometimes a little overrated. I see that WWE likes to do these long title reigns, and I think they put a lot of significance on it. But if you're in NXT and Trick had his moment, he beat Carmelo Hayes. It was a great lead in, the best stand and deliver so far that they've put on there in Philadelphia. I really think we're too focused on the days and the title reign's length because to me, if I'm booking this, it makes so much sense. No offense to Trick, but just in the common sense of booking to put the title on Ethan Page because Ethan Page is a guy coming from AEW. What a nice little jab in the face or slap to the face to AEW by putting him as champion the first day on there. Now, a lot of people could say, well, it's AEW wrestler winning a WWE championship. Get over it. I wouldn't see it that way.
People could spin it that way. It's more of an ex AW performer getting the opportunity that they felt they earned.
That's how I see it. But of course, there's other people that don't see it that way. But I really don't. I think we've made too much of these title reigns. I think the lengthwise, the days. Listen, Ric Flair is a 16-time champion. I can't tell how long he was a champion, right? I mean, I should know that, but like sometimes, now we care about how many times have the length of the titles reigns.
Listen, not everyone could be a Gunther. Not everyone could be a Roman Reigns. At this point, like you've said before, it's not about how long you've held the titles, that what you've done with it so far. I think Trick's done a great job. Just if his title reign does come to an end shortly, which I feel it will, it doesn't degrade him, doesn't hurt him right now, because at the same time, the crowd's still going to be behind him. They're still going to be cheering for him and rooting for him to go forward, whether it be in the main roster or possibly another shot at the title. But I think right now, at this moment, Ethan Page makes the most sense.
I do, and we've agreed a lot, but we're trying to make sense of it, right? We're not trying to just give you like crazy predictions here. We're trying to give you common sense ones, and common sense would make if you're a booker from the territory in the 80s, clear cut no brainer here that you put the title on Ethan Page, and I think that's going to happen in Las Vegas at the Apex, the UFC Apex, the start of I guess it's the beginning of something here. With their partnership with TKO. All eyes are going to be on NXT Battleground tonight. So I'm going to say that Ethan Page becomes a new NXT champion. And on that note, Trendsetter, we just had a great NXT Slam session, and we just previewed NXT Battleground for you guys. Enjoy. It is tonight on Peacock. I'll be watching it. We might do a IG Live because obviously this won't end at past 1 o'clock. So we'll probably catch us on the IG Live with a post-show, a little quick post-show. We're going to pull a ribbon on NXT Battleground. But again, we gave you our predictions. Now do what you do with them, guys. But we want to thank you for joining us here on the Give Us a Shot Network. Make sure you follow us on all our social media at High Spot Podcast. We got the interview with Sean Manchester, as we talked about. Get your own replica Macho King crown and enjoy all the other past episodes of HSP Podcast as we're on the road to NXT Battleground. We're right there. And then we've got Clash at the Castle coming up as well. So a busy June, but Trendsetter, I'm glad I'm doing it with my tag team partner. And again, let's go, man. Tonight, NXT Battleground. Let's go. Let's do this.
It's a busy beginning of the summer, and I can't wait for it to fully come to a head with NXT Battleground starting it off here in June. Busy June, like I said, wouldn't have it any other way. Love keeping busy. Love talking about what we love talking about the most, Jeff, this particular thing. So, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. For Jeff Martin, I'm the Trendsetter Brian Berger. We are the Jersey Red Crew. You guys have been listening to the High Spot Podcast. And remember, we do this episode and every single episode for one reason and one reason only. We do it for you, the crew.
See you on IG Live. Bye. Bye.